So in this video, I'm going to take you to 3 big hitters in Bruges. One is a palace that has artefacts from 500 years of Bruges history and a really cool, unique connection to the third place I'll take you. One is a UNESCO-listed treasure that plays a major role in the movie In Bruges and has a very noisy surprise up the top. And I'm going to visit a church that has an incredible art connection, including a really spectacular piece that you would never have expected to find in Bruges. The palace, which was built in the 1400s and is now a museum, was built by this guy, Louis of Gruuthuse. Louis was an advisor to 3 dukes, had expensive taste in books, which were a status symbol, and he spared no expense buying them. The museum holds many of these, along with hundreds of artefacts from 500 years of Bruges history. It's really worth a visit. These are all carvings from the 13th century. This is a trading ledger from 1503. This is a note to say that a sum of 500 gold francs is to be deducted from the grant allocated to the city to build the castle. Yeah, there's a coffer. Actual coffer. I wasn't expecting this, but look. It's the other side of the smallest Gothic window in Europe. These are lithographs from the 1840s. This leads onto Louis' private prayer room. He's had this part built, the floors are creaky, so that he could see directly into the church next door, and he wouldn't have to go outside with the grate unwashed in order to pray. I'll show you this from the church side when we get to the third big hitter of this video. I've just been into a fabulous bar called Beer Jimmy. Thank you so much. Met some locals and a little dog who was very keen on the pate that I just had. Somebody has to do it. I'm on my way now to climb the bell tower. 360 steps, I think. In the movie, In Bruges, basically an American tourist dies in it because they're too fat and unfit to climb up it. Wish me luck, hopefully I won't die. You come through the tunnel and round the back of the Belfry to access the gift shop and the stairs to climb up. Nearly 400 steps. I don't know that I thought this through really. I think they're doing a one out, one in system. So I think what they've done is they've organised the bookings. People have booked in for a certain time, and then I think as the previous people were leaving, they let one person in. So I guess they're limiting the number of people who are actually in there at one time. So from the 12th century, this was a really very powerful area north of the Alps. And so what happened was that the counts ended up enshrining powers to the cities in charters and documents. And those charters and documents were kept in these cases behind these locked gates. Unfortunately, the older documents were destroyed in a fire in the 13th century. All right, I'm going in. The bell tower also houses 46 bells at the top, which were used to keep time but also send messages across the whole city. So they used to have different bell sounds for different parts of the day. They have a work start bell, a lunch bell, a closing of the gates bell, a fire bell, they have emergency bell, and they have festival bells and things. And interestingly, they change the bells every 2 years to play a different tune. Probably so that it doesn't drive the locals mad. This is the Great Bell. There's been 10 different great bells during the course of this belfry. This one was actually cast in 1680 and it weighs 6 tons. The stairs are getting smaller. A little satchel bag on me and I can't actually fit up the stairwell now with the satchel bag. That's cool. These are the things that they change every 2 years. By changing the little notches, putting them in different spaces, it means that the bell is triggered a different way, and that's why they change the music every 2 years. climb to the top really does reward you with spectacular views over Bruges, a close-up view of how the soundtrack to the city occurs, and this little thing that I suspect most people would miss. I think this is telling the distance of various towns. Mechelen, 90. I've been there. Berlin. You can see here from outside the palace, it's actually physically connected to this church next door. Welcome to the Church of Our Lady. It's been here since the 12th century and has the most extraordinary art collection. This painting shows what the church would have looked like inside in the 17th century. There's an incredible collection of art here because many prominent citizens of Bruges were keen to secure their place in the afterlife. So they commissioned the best artists they could afford, and they could afford them, to produce works that were gifted to the church. This Baroque confessional is absolutely exquisite. Amongst the figures are Faith and Vice and St. John holding a book. The book shows the name of the artists who carved it. Now, remember Louis, who lived next door? He would be up there looking into the church, and he would get personal visits from the priests through this door. And this is what he was looking onto. These painted graves are from the 1200s. These are the coats of arms of the Knights of the Golden Fleece. The one up the end is painted black because John of Burgundy was accused of heresy and straying from the faith. Mary of Burgundy fell from a horse and died in 1482. She'd ruled the Low Countries for 5 years before that. Her tomb is decorated with her family tree. And some poppies. Her father, Charles the Bold, is entombed next to her. But the real surprise here is the Michelangelo. This is a sample of the Carrara marble it's carved from, and it's tiny. Okay, just kidding. This is the real one. It's the first of only a few works to leave Italy in Michelangelo's lifetime. A wealthy Bruges cloth merchant commissioned it, and I guess he got his place in heaven. Napoleon took it during the French Revolution, Hitler took it as well, and eventually it was found in a salt mine in Austria and returned to live forever in Bruges. Bruges has been just amazing. 2 videos out of that, so I've had an absolutely brilliant time. I cannot wait to do the next video because I get completely stupidly lost in a forest, like tourist dies in a forest situation, and then have the most amazing experience at the end of that day, getting some help from people and being fed extraordinarily well. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to do that. So if you want to watch that video, subscribe, and otherwise watch one of these videos here while you wait for that one to turn up.